April 24, 1918. 11:47 p.m. Villers-Bretonneux, France. The air stinks of cordite and wet earth, thick enough to choke on. Mud sucks at your boots like living hands as you crawl through no man's land, barbed wire snagging your uniform, the Lewis gun slung across your back heavy as sin. The moon is a sliver, just enough to silhouette the shattered trees, but not enough to betray you to the German sentries 50 yards ahead. Sergeant Charlie Stokes, 5th Australian Division, presses flat against the cold ground, heart pounding in his ears. His platoon, 20 good men from Melbourne and Sydney, boys he'd trained, joked with, buried mates alongside, fans out in the darkness. The order was simple: probe the German lines, hit a machine gun post, pull back before dawn. But nothing's simple in this hell. A flare pops overhead, green-white, turning night to sickly day for 10 long seconds. Everyone freezes. Stokes sees it first, the glint of a Maxim barrel in the trench lip ahead. Then the chatter starts. Short bursts. His left flank erupts and screams. Private Murphy goes down clutching his throat, red bubbling between fingers. Corporal Hayes rolls into a shell hole, firing wild with his Enfield. Stokes rolls right, unhooks a Mills bomb, hurls it blind toward the noise. Explosion. Shrapnel whines. A German yell cuts short. But the Maxims keep hammering, 2, 3, 4 of them now, stitching the ground with lead. His platoon is caught open, no cover but craters and corpses. Men drop like cut wheat. Stokes grabs the Lewis gun from a fallen gunner, rams in a fresh pan magazine, and opens up. The gun bucks in his hands, brass flying. He hears impacts, grunts, but the fire doesn't stop. One by one, his boys go quiet. The flare dies. Darkness rushes back. Stokes lies there, breath ragged, counting. No answering calls. No movement. Just the low moans of the dying and the distant rumble of artillery somewhere north. He's alone. Platoon wiped out. German voices drift from the trench, laughing, calling for stretcher bearers. They think it's over. But Stokes feels something snap inside. Rage, hot and clean. He checks his ammo, 3 pans for the Lewis, 6 Mills bombs on his belt, a Webley revolver with 18 rounds. Enough. He slithers forward, inch by inch, toward the enemy line. The first trench is 20 yards away. He can smell their cigarettes. What kind of man crawls toward death when every instinct screams run? Charlie Stokes is about to show them. Charlie Stokes is about to show them. He reaches the German wire without a sound, belly flat, wire cutters snipping just enough to crawl through. The parapet is right above him now, a black wall of sandbags and mud. He can hear 2 sentries talking low, one complaining about the cold, the other laughing about the dumb Australians who walked into the ambush. Stokes rises like a ghost, Lewis gun at the hip, finger already taking first pressure. He steps over the parapet and into the trench. The first German sees him too late. A young lad, barely 19, helmet too big, mouth open to shout. Stokes fires a 3-round burst, thud thud thud, straight into the chest. The boy folds without a sound. The second sentry spins, Mauser half raised. Stokes swings the Lewis like a club, but smashing the man's jaw, then puts 2 rounds into him as he falls. The trench smells of blood and hot oil now. A third German stumbles out of a dugout, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Stokes fires again, the Lewis roars, the man's stomach opens like a red flower. Silence falls, thick and sudden. 3 dead in 6 seconds. No alarm yet. He moves fast. Traverse left, a Maxim 08, on its sledge mount, barrel still warm. 2 dead gunners slumped over it. He kicks the gun onto its side so it can't be turned on him, then keeps moving. Voices ahead, around the next bay, maybe 10 men, maybe more. He pulls the pin on a Mills bomb with his teeth, cooks it for 2 seconds, and lobs it round the corner. Boom. Screams, dust, a lead cartwheels past his boots. He steps into the smoke, swinging the Lewis from the hip. 4 Germans are down, writhing. The rest throw up their hands, eyes white in the dark, shouting "Kamerad! Kamerad!" Stokes snarls in perfect English, "Hands higher, I finished the job." They obey. 10 prisoners, rifles dropped, trembling. He herds them back past the dead gunners, shoves them into a corner of the trench, and orders the least wounded to tie the others with their own puttees. First trench secured. First Maxim captured. 10 prisoners. All in under 2 minutes. Stokes doesn't stop to think. Thinking will kill him. He grabs 2 more Mills bombs from a dead German's belt, slings a captured stick grenade just in case, and moves deeper. The trench zigzags like a snake, duckboards slick with blood, walls collapsing from shellfire. He hears singing now, drunken, off-key, from a dugout 20 yards ahead. An officer's voice barking orders. A telephone ringing unanswered. He realizes this isn't an outpost. It's a whole company's strong point. Maybe 150 men. 4 Maxims. And he's one Australian sergeant with half a magazine left and a burning need to make someone pay for his platoon. He reaches the next fire bay. A machine gun crew is frantically trying to swing their Maxim toward the noise behind them. Stokes steps into the open, cool as ice. "Hands up, you bastards." The gunner freezes. The loader drops the ammo belt. The officer, a tall under-officer with an iron cross, reaches for his Luger. Stokes shoots him through the throat without blinking. The rest surrender instantly. Another Maxim captured. Another 8 prisoners. He forces them to carry their own gun out of the traverse and dump it behind him, blocking any counterattack from the rear. 18 prisoners now, hands on heads, stumbling over their own dead. The trench is starting to feel like a cage he's filling one bay at a time. Deeper still. He can hear the main body now, boots on duckboards, shouted questions, someone blowing a whistle. They know something is wrong, but they don't know what. Stokes pulls his last trick. He stands tall in the middle of the trench, Lewis gun pointed forward, and roars in perfect German, picked up from prisoners months ago. "Achtung! Der Graben ist umzingelt. Werft die Waffen weg oder wir sprengen alles in die Halle." The trench is surrounded. "Throw down your weapons or we blow everything to hell." He punctuates it by lobbing his second-last Mills bomb high into the air so it lands behind him with a massive bang. Panic ripples forward like a wave. Men see the growing pile of prisoners, the dead officers, the captured Maxims. They see one lone figure in a slouch hat standing over them like the devil himself. Rifles clatter to the duckboards. Hands shoot up. Whole sections surrender at once. 30 men. 50. 70. He keeps moving forward, voice hoarse, herding them back the way he came, threatening, cajoling, lying through his teeth about the thousands of Australians right behind him. By the time he reaches the 4th and final machine gun post, the Germans there simply walk out with their hands up the second they see the river of prisoners flowing past. 4 Maxims. 120 prisoners. All before the sky even begins to pale. Stokes stands at the head of his human herd, Lewis gun empty now, revolver in his fist, chest heaving. Dawn is a thin gray line on the horizon. Somewhere behind him, the first British shells begin to fall on the German second line, the barrage for the counterattack that was never needed. He looks at the sea of gray uniforms, terrified faces, and realizes what he has just done. One man. One night. One impossible walk through hell. And then he hears it, Australian voices, faint but growing louder. His own battalion coming up at last. He raises his revolver to the sky and fires the last 6 shots in triumph. The prisoners flinch. Charlie Stokes just smiles, teeth white in a mud-black face. "Come on, you beauties," he shouts into the dawn. "Breakfast is served." "Come on, you beauties," he shouts into the dawn. "Breakfast is served." The first pale light of April 25th, 1918 creeps across the scarred earth of Villers-Bretonneux like a hesitant child. The Australian voices grow louder, first a section, then a full company of the 17th Battalion, bayonets fixed, expecting to fight through a German strongpoint. Instead, they walk into a scene from a fevered dream. Sergeant Charlie Stokes stands alone in the middle of the captured trench, slouch hat tilted back, empty Lewis gun dangling from one hand, revolver smoking in the other. Behind him, stretching back through 4 zigzag traverses, are 120 German prisoners, some still in their nightshirts, some barefoot, all with hands tied behind their backs using their own belts and puttees. 4 upended Maxim 08s lie like broken toys. Dead gunners stare at the sky with surprised expressions. The Australians stop dead, rifles half lowered, mouths open. One young lieutenant actually takes off his helmet and scratches his head. "Stokesy, what the bloody hell have you done?" Charlie just grins, the kind of grin that is half exhaustion, half pure madness. "Morning, sir. Sorry about the mess. Lost me platoon, so I borrowed theirs." Then his legs give out. He sits down hard on an ammunition box, drops the empty Lewis gun, and starts to shake so violently his teeth chatter. Someone thrusts a cigarette between his lips. Someone else drapes a greatcoat over his shoulders. A medical orderly tries to bandage a shrapnel graze on his neck he never even felt. He waves them away, points at the prisoners instead. "Water for the bastards first. They've had a rough night." Word spreads faster than any field telephone. By the time the sun is fully up, half the 5th Division is crowded along the parapet staring down at the impossible sight. Men cheer until they're hoarse. A padre starts singing Waltzing Matilda and the whole trench line takes it up. German prisoners, some still dazed, some openly crying, are given cigarettes and tinned bully beef by the same diggers who were trying to kill them an hour earlier. One old Lancer corporal salutes Stokes stiffly and says in halting English, "You are ein Teufel, Sergeant." But a fair one. Charlie just laughs until the tears come. Brigadier General Glasgow arrives at 7:30 a.m., mud to the knees, monocle flashing. He stares at the 4 captured Maxims, at the columns of prisoners being marched rearward under light guard, at the single exhausted sergeant sitting on a sandbag drinking tea from a German enameled mug. Glasgow climbs down into the trench, stands in front of Stokes, and for a long moment says nothing at all. Then he removes his cap, runs a hand through thinning hair, and finally speaks. "Sergeant Stokes, the Australian Imperial Force has seen some remarkable feats in this war, but I do believe you've just topped the bloody lot." He pulls a silver flask from his pocket, takes a swig, hands it to Charlie. "Victoria Cross, my boy. I'll stake my reputation on it." Stokes drinks, coughs, hands the flask back. "Thank you, sir. But it's for the platoon, really. The ones who didn't make it back." By noon the official count is in. 120 prisoners, including 3 officers and 11 NCOs, 4 intact Maxim 08 machine guns with 40,000 rounds of ammunition, 1 field telephone switchboard, 2 trench mortars, countless rifles, grenades, and 1 regimental mascot goat that refuses to leave its captured handler. All taken by 1 man in approximately 4 hours. The German 77th Reserve Division's after-action report will describe the incident as a complete moral collapse caused by an unknown Australian stormtroop of overwhelming strength. They never realize it was one sergeant with an empty gun and a gift for lying in perfect German. Charlie Stokes is carried out on the shoulders of his mates to the nearest dressing station. He sleeps for 18 hours straight, wakes only long enough to ask if the prisoners got their breakfast. When they tell him yes, he nods once and goes back to sleep with a faint smile. The medical officer writes in his notes, patient suffers from severe exhaustion and mild concussion. Also appears to be completely bloody insane. Recommend immediate award and permanent removal from frontline service before he captures Berlin single-handed. News reaches Australia within days. The Sydney Morning Herald runs the headline, "One digger bags 120 Huns, Sergeant Stokes' amazing feat." Recruiting stations are swamped. Mothers name babies Charles. In Berlin, the Kaiser supposedly slams the report down on his desk and snaps, "If all Australians fight like this maniac, we had better make peace tomorrow." And somewhere in a quiet pub in Melbourne, Charlie's father, a Gallipoli veteran himself, raises a glass to the wireless and whispers, "That's my boy." But the war is not sentimental. Within a week, Stokes is back with his battalion, bandage around his head, new Lewis gun, same quiet grin. The Victoria Cross citation will be gazetted in September, the medal itself pinned on his chest by King George V in the courtyard of Buckingham Palace the following year. He will never talk much about that night. When pressed by eager reporters, he shrugs and says only, "Lost me mates. Had to do something, didn't I?" Then he changes the subject to cricket scores. Yet every Anzac Day for the rest of his life, old comrades will buy him a beer and ask him to tell the story one more time. And every time, just before the end, Charlie Stokes will look into the middle distance, voice dropping to a whisper, and add the part he never put in the official report. When I was walking those trenches alone, I kept hearing the boys calling me. Murphy, Hayes, Little Bluey, Ryan, all of them. Telling me to keep going. So I did. Wasn't really me that night, you know. It was them. He will die in 1974, aged 81, still wearing the faded slouch hat from Villers-Bretonneux. And on his gravestone in Rookwood Cemetery, beneath the Rising Sun badge, are carved just 7 words. He brought his mates home. All 120 of them. END.